Hey, this video will talk about how, however you perceive your situation and the value that you give to that situation, that determines how you perceive any situation, whether it's good or bad. Hey, it's your boy James Watts, tuning back in with another video, man. First of all, hope everybody having a good Sunday. I got a lot to talk about today. So this video is going to be filled with a lot of substance, a lot of good meaning, a lot of values that can help you in your life and my life as well. Normally when I get into these videos, I usually talk about stuff that can help me and you, and just helping each other out with, spreading good information and just giving y'all knowledge. So first of all, I'm gonna talk about two things today, and then I got a referring claim, which is a book that I have that will support all my claims that I'll talk about in this video. First of all, I want to talk about how sometimes we view our situation in a negative light. And sometimes we don't know that we victimize ourselves in those situations and try to make excuses. For example, say that you want to pursue building your own platform or business one day, but you always making an excuse on, maybe I'm older now, so I don't think I have the power to do it anymore, or this person might be better than me in a certain thing, so I don't think I have what it takes. And it's like, sometimes we become victimized to our own excuses and our own, words that we say to ourselves. And while I want to tie that into inferiority complex and superiority complex, and I'm going to tie that into the book that I'm reading right now, which is called The Courage to Be Disliked. Make sure y'all go read this book. It's very recommendable. But basically, I'm on a chapter to where, what struck me, that's why I wanted to make a video today, where it talked about how sometimes we put value into things and then feel like that we are not the reason why we put value into, bad situations or situations that we put value behind. Or we tend to make excuses about something that we want to pursue, but we allow fear to get in the way of that. And why I want to talk about this today is because this is very important. And why it's very important is because sometimes we become victimized by our own excuses and by our own fears and doubts and anxieties and depression and all that. And why I want to talk about that today is because we have the courage. We don't have the courage to be disliked. And most of the time we don't have the courage to be disliked by our own thoughts in mind. And, just a psychological, standpoint from that. So, why I want to talk about this point and why I brought the book inside the situation is because I'm realizing that even sometimes, in my own personal life, sometimes I can tend to put a certain emotion on a certain attachment and be able to feel some type of way, or kind of overthink a little bit, or kind of ruminate over different things, or even put myself in a situation to where I could have done this better, or I could have done that better, or from y'all perspective, y'all might be doing something and y'all probably get discouraged and feel like I don't think I'm good enough, you know what I'm saying, or I don't think I'm this and that. So it's the more we realize that, the more that we walk into that lack type of spirit, the more that we will be able to manifest stuff like that in our lives that we don't want to. And while doing that, we become a victim of ourselves, and we put value behind things that don't define us. You know what I'm saying? And most of the time, those things that we do believe that we want in life, most of the time is controlled by other people around us and by external influences. So why I want to talk about that today is because, just have the power of being more in a superiority complex, I'd say, because most of the time we kind of feel like that we are inferior, whether it's an external factor that's saying that, or most of the time it's not even external factors. 99.9% of the time it's ourselves that's putting that on lack of spirit and that own excuses on ourselves, feel like that we're not capable. So that's why I wanted to get into the inferiority complex and cause and effect in the superiority complex. And why I want to get into superiority complex is superiority complex and inferiority complex is both the same thing. It's the counterpart of each other. But why it's so hard that we kind of go towards the inferior side is because we tend to see ourselves in a lower light. due to us comparing ourselves to others, knowing that we all have our own differences, and we grow up from different environments, and we grow up from like different, and we have different experiences from one another. But we tend to want to like triumph over like other people, and sometimes we can become a victim of that. And why I want to talk about that today is because as long as we continue to balance these things out, both of them can have a good effect as well. You not perceiving yourself inferior by making excuses, but you seeing yourself as inferior, knowing that, okay, bet. Seeing yourself as inferior as striving and growth. And let me break it down. When you have that inferior complex, which all of us humans do, like we tend to like look down and like kind of look less of ourselves. But just like being able to know that, like at the end of the day, as long as we look at the inferior complex within ourselves as, okay, I might not be good in this area yet, but let me continue to improve in this area because I don't think I'm good enough yet. So I'm gonna continue to improve in this area. So you continue to put the realistic efforts forward, like putting in work every day, stacking your days up, staying consistent with what you want to accomplish in life. And you use that inferior that you feel within yourself as something that fuel you. You know, so it's always a good and bad to everything. But why I want to draw into the value is because we value inferior in a negative way. Like, okay, I'm not good at this, so since I'm not good at this might be my weakness. Let me just victimize myself and say that I'm not good enough, so I can go back into my comfort zone and not want to work and be consistent. So why I say, you know, putting value on things, because most of the time, bro, y'all gotta just stay conscious and aware that we are putting these things on ourselves. We are putting these limitations on ourselves, these doubts and everything, and we are the only ones that can fix it and that can make a change. So make sure that everybody out there that want to make a change, that want to put in these realistic efforts, make sure that you use any type of lack that you feel like you don't have, which is like a weakness, whether it's in your field, whether it's you as a person, whether it's like your interpersonal like relationships that you have with other people. Make sure that you find like what's wrong with you, because usually the stuff that we kind of project to others or to the world is kind of stuff that we kind of hide within ourselves that we are, you know, continuing every day to be able to get better from. So we are what we put value on things. So like whatever that we put value on, that's what we are. You got what I'm saying? So make sure, like, man, like whatever that y'all feel like that y'all not weak in, make sure that you use your inferior in a positive way to help you fuel. And that superior complex, to get to that other side, connecting to the inferior, is most people look at that situation or their inferior, like I said, as, okay, this is going to help me be able to move one step forward at a time. I'm always focused on me, myself, and not kind of like in an egotistic type of perspective, but in a more of a improvement, self-improvement perspective. Like, I want to improve. I want to be the best version of myself every single day. So looking at yourself in a superior complex and making sure that you see like your ideal self that you want to become, and being able to chase that by, you know, putting in work every single day, not chasing stuff that's external, people's approval, you trying to prove somebody right, and like, you know, proving yourself right, which is the most important thing at the end of the day. So that's why I tied into the book of The Courage Not Be This Light, because, you know, that kind of hit me today. I kind of was reading the chapter, I was like, dang, maybe I can be able to share to the people on my channel about, like, you know, superiority complex and, like, you know, inferiority complex. So or my bad, superiority complex and, you know, inferiority complex, whatever. But yeah, just being able to put that out there, man. Like, make sure that y'all use like y'all weaknesses to fuel, not to conform, but to fuel. Always use like whatever that's making you feel discouraged as something, as a challenge, something that you know that you got to work on, that you got to improve. And that's where the grace come in. That's where the compassion come in. Being able to know that you are human, that we are not perfect, and we all grow from different conditions, and not being afraid to know to say to yourself, you know what, I don't want to like live in a box. Like, I am always willing to compare myself to myself from where I was yesterday, and being able to build on that every single day. So I wanted to tie everything in, man, like being inferior by being superior, like trying to, well, really explaining those counterparts of both areas and being able to use those for your good. So hopefully this makes sense. And tying that into knowing that, man, like whatever value that you put on a certain thing, you're going to either be inferior or superior. It just depends on your mental and how you view and perceive that certain situation. So make sure that every single day, man. So all the people on my channel that's been supporting me, I appreciate y'all, by the way. But just make sure that y'all always look at everything from, okay, whatever perspective I put in the situation, that's the value that's going to come out of that, whether it's good or bad. And like whatever you put out to the world, like, you know what I'm saying, you can manifest that. So make sure that you always not looking at yourself as like, you know, like trying to victimize yourself, but looking at yourself in a light to where you know that, okay, I can triumph this, whether it's a struggle, whether it's a situation, and you just improve yourself every single day. Always know that it's always an opportunity of growth and striving. And as long as you put great value on the things that you may be struggling with, and you know that it's a better side on the other side of this, and knowing that it's a silver lining in this, and believing that, having faith in that, trusting in that, walking in that every single day, then you'll be able to get to the other side, and man, it's gonna be all worth it. So make sure that, man, y'all keep y'all heads up. Make sure that y'all don't conform until y'all own, like, you know, old habits and weaknesses and stuff like that. But make sure that you continue to grow. Make sure you continue to grow yourself and push yourself. Every day it's not gonna be a great day, but yeah, just make sure that you just keep going, stay resilient, because that's all that matters. And the only thing that matters is you. So remember that. It's James Wise, and tuning out. Peace.